Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I wanted to talk about a recent announcement that Meghan Markle is going to receive the Women of Vision Award on May 16th, soon after the coronation. So she's going to be honoured for her feminism and her women's rights activism. And this is an award connected to Gloria Steinem, who Meghan is very close with and is a known feminist. So it's interesting that Meghan is being honoured for her feminism, her women's rights activism. And I would like to know how Meghan has advanced women. What has she done that has advanced the plight of women in 2023 or, over the years? It'd be interesting to see. So I'm going to read a bit more about it in a Vanity Fair article. And I'm going to say who I think is more worthy of an award for women's rights activism. So, since moving back to the US in 2020, Meghan Markle has continued the work she began before her royal days in advocating for women and girls through her charity work. You mean the charity work that was organised by her PR company so she could look more like a humanitarian, all in preparation for her meeting Harry to eventually put her plan into action. And you got to give her credit for making her dream a reality. She certainly succeeded in that regard. She also built a friendship with Gloria Steinem, the legendary activist and a founder of the Miss Foundation for Women. This year, the two friends will reunite at the foundation's 50th anniversary gala in New York City, when Steinem presents the Duchess with a Women of Vision Award, which has previously gone to luminaries such as Hillary Clinton, Ava DuVernay, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, and Diane von Westerberg. So obviously this is a very leftist type of award. I'm not going to see any conservative women activists, on that list anytime soon. On May the 16th, she will be honoured alongside reproductive justice advocates Wanda Irvin and Kimberly Inez McGuire and Latosha Brown, a political strategist and founder of Black Voters Matter. We are thrilled to announce this year's honorees for the Women of Vision Awards and to celebrate 50 years of progress and power, said Teresa C. Younger, President and CEO of the Miss Foundation. Meghan, Latosha, Wanda, Kimberly, Olivia and Rebecca are incredible leaders, and we are grateful to be able to shine a light on their many accomplishments and tireless work on behalf of gender and racial equity across the country and the world. So this is the company that Meghan keeps. People who are all about aborting babies, trans rights, and leftist, radical leftist ideology. So, I don't really see anything there that is advancing women per se. And this is why a lot of women don't call themselves feminists, because they don't want to be associated with this sort of thing, to be honest. And I found it interesting that on Meghan's podcast, again, the whole theme was talking about, how women are marginalized and put into boxes. It was basically about stereotypes, but she called it archetypes. But anyway, and one episode she was talking about women's sensuality or sexuality and being shamed for that. And she had a biological male on that episode. So you're talking about the problems that women face, but then you had a trans woman on the episode. And clearly she is somebody who sees trans rights as being synonymous with women's rights. And for me, that is not going to help us. That's not going to advance us in any way, because then we're going to be left open to biological men taking over our sports, coming into our locker rooms, coming into various spaces that we don't want them in, because we just want to be, left alone. But, if you're going to see trans rights as synonymous with women's rights, then that's what you're advocating for.
Hi, Florida is considering a policy to force young women athletes in school to talk to their administrators about their menstrual history. It's very invasive, it's very creepy. They would ask student girl athletes when they had their first period, when they had their most recent period, how many periods do they have in a year, etc., etc. And it's all to force out trans athletes. They want cis girls, non-trans girls, to prove that they are not trans. The only point I want to make on this one is anti-trans bigots will throw women and young girls under the bus in order to advance their bigotry. This is why LGBTQ rights and women's rights are intertwined and why we're in this fight together.
Advocating for scholarships being taken away, opportunities being taken from women to go to biological men, brand deals, as we've seen with the whole Dylan Mulvaney. They could have chosen a woman to be the representative, but they rather choose a biological male, even for things that are exclusively for women, such as periods, using tampons. Even now, when it comes to pregnancy, companies for, pregnant women, mothers and babies are using men to advertise their product, as we saw with Docotot. So it's just getting ridiculous now. So I don't see how you could claim to be a women's rights activist in any capacity, but yet advocate for trans rights. And I'm not talking about the right to be, left alone in terms of not being harmed and facing violence and that kind of thing. But I'm talking about they see their rights as being able to participate in women's sports, as being able to go into women's bathrooms, rights that are fringe upon that of biological females. You can't have it both ways. And that's what Meghan clearly represents. And I don't think, the award is appropriate for her because the award is a leftist radical ideology type of award. So it is kind of appropriate for her to receive that award. But if I ask you, what has she done to actually advance women? On her podcast, she went to her old school, spoke to some young, impressionable girls. And, one of them was talking about not wanting to get married, not wanting to have children. And Meghan is co-signing that kind of ideology while being married and having children herself. Like the Chelsea Handler video where she was sort of trying to brag about not having children, not being married. But there are a lot of women in that position who aren't happy. And I don't think it's healthy to push that ideology to our young girls. I think it's okay to say, yeah, I want to get married. I want to have children. That's okay. I want to be a traditional wife. Again, that's kind of offensive now these days for some reason, as we're seeing with the trad wife trend. Anything that is based on traditional values. We saw on BLM's website, they said they wanted to do away with the nuclear family. They removed that later on, but initially, when you went on their website, that's what it said, something to that effect, wanted to do away with the nuclear family. And what's the result of that? We're seeing the downfall of our society before our very eyes, because we're coming away from traditional values. We're coming away from, building strong family units with fathers in the home, with mother and father married and then having kids. We're coming away from that. We're acting as if that is somehow taboo. They're even likening it to white supremacy, which is ridiculous. Like, there aren't a lot of black conservatives out there based, growing up in church, growing up with traditional values. It's insulting.
At the moment, transgender right activists ambush a women's rights rally in Tacoma, Washington. One counter-protester seen here trying to shove a speaker. Another attack at the rally reportedly left a victim with 2 broken fingers. Kelly J. Keene attended the rally and joins me now. Wow. So it sounded like things got violent. First of all, what was the purpose of this rally? And then describe a little bit more about what ended up happening.
Well, the purpose is to literally let women speak because, now Elon Musk has taken over Twitter. Maybe it's not so bad, but women are being silenced all through tech. So we're taking our voices back to the public square. Many of those women attended. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their livelihoods. They might have lost their children to this pernicious cult of transgenderism, and they just want to talk about it.
So were there men, Kelly J, in the group of people that were attacking you?
Yeah, it's overtly populated by quite misogynist, violent men, but also there's a lot of young women singing their praises. and being really, really hateful. But the violence often comes from men, and April got her fingers crushed by a man's bare hands. You know, he literally got her hand in his and crushed it and broke her fingers.
Oh my gosh.
In my opinion, somebody like Kelly J. Keane, or Posey Parker, as she's called, she is worthy of an award because she's gone to different countries, given women a voice. Simply events where women can come together and speak about their concerns. She's organised those events, and she's had to face a lot of backlash. She's had her life threatened multiple times. We saw recently in New Zealand, she had to be escorted out of the country by police for her safety. She was attacked by an angry mob. The images that came from that event were very hard to see, were very distressing and very upsetting to see that this woman was treated in that way, just for saying that women should have a voice, just for saying that women's rights are not the same as that of trans women, of biological males, because the two conflict. And we're going to have to recognize that and address it. So she's fighting for women's sports. She's fighting for women's spaces. She's fighting for women to have a voice without having to be attacked just because they don't agree with every aspect of gender ideology. There's even women on the left who are being attacked just because they don't agree with everything 100%. They might not agree, they might agree 95%, but even they get attacked simply for not wanting to be called cis, for example. There's women getting attacked for that on the left and the right. So women like, Kelly J. Keane, they are to be commended because they are putting their lives on the line to fight for the rights of women, to fight this new repackaged form of misogyny. They're literally, she said she had to up her security, and she's urging the police to look after women because unfortunately, in the UK, well, it's not unfortunately, that's just the way the UK is built, that's fine. But she can't, go and do gun safety lessons and buy a gun and carry legally. She can't do that in the UK. She's very much reliant on the police. Here in the US, in many states, you can legally carry. You could be your own security. And I'm pretty happy with that personally. But if you can't do that, women need to start thinking about how they can secure themselves. There's pepper spray. There's devices where an alarm is rung, like the same volume as a car alarm. You can buy those devices, very small devices like key rings. Women are going to have to start thinking about how they can secure themselves now because of the backlash. So I think what she's doing is to be commended, especially in the times we're living in now. Like I said, we're dealing with a repackaged form of misogyny. We're being told what we can call ourselves. Things that are exclusive to women are being taken and repackaged and shoved down our throat, like chest feeding, person with a uterus. They're trying to change our language. And if you don't like that, you're attacked. And, that is the real threat, not all the things that these radical leftists are trying to present as being a threat to women. No. And embracing the very thing that is leading to our downfall. That's not going to help us. So let me know what you think. Do you think these awards are warranted, or do you think maybe there's some truth to them buying these awards? Because a lot of the awards, it's like, where's the track record where we could see that these awards are warranted? The Time magazine cover they got. Again, a lot of people speculating that they bought that honor. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.